there in Dragland. It is Ginger Minge and I am in Houston, Texas, baby. That's why I wore my fringe today. Isn't that nice? I'm getting back to my southern roots.
Houston, Texas, baby.
Houston, Texas. Me and Beyonce. The two of us. Well, this isn't Beyonce right here.
Hillary Duff is from here, too.
Is she?
She is.
You know, I met her once. I was working,
really?
Yeah, it was years ago. I was working for Beauty and the Beast on Broadway doing like merchandising and stuff. Yeah. And they brought her in. It was like at the height of Lizzie McGuire, or maybe like right after it. And they wanted her to play Belle.
Get out of here.
So they brought her in.
They said Emma Watson suck my ass.
this was many years before Emma. She was still
Hillary Duff was the original
casting spells. Yeah. Well, she never actually took over the role. We got Christy Carlson Romano from Even Stevens instead.
Not Ren.
Yeah, we
Ren.
got Kim Possible, girl.
Yes, ma'am.
We're already getting sidetracked, which
sorry.
I know that if you are an avid listener of this podcast, you are used to it because we take many, many detours. So it's like the highway system in Florida. You know, it's always under construction. You never know where it's going to lead. A mess. Yeah, a mess. Speaking of messes, I am so excited to be sitting here with my sister from another mister. We literally are just meeting. So this is going to be a very fun conversation. She is the show director at Rebar here in Houston, Texas. And see, I wore my red, white, and blue today.
Girl, you look a real country.
Thank you so
much. Like a little country little girl.
I got some biscuits and gravy up
got her
here.
Biscuits ready to go.
This is Ondi.
Hello.
How are you?
I am fabulous and exhausted and strained. How are you?
Now, why are you so exhausted before I answer?
You know, we had the little brunch today. We got up at 8:30, 9 o'clock to do a little brunch.
And it's Sunday. It's the Lord's Day.
Praise the Lord.
Won't he do it?
You know, it's a Sunday service. We do it every day.
You do it every day?
No, just Sunday.
Every Sunday.
Every Sunday at Rebar. We do a little Sunday service. Mm-hmm. And today we had Mayhem Miller.
I know.
Your sister.
I know. She helped me win $30,000 on All Star 6.
We love money.
We do love money. And she's still trying to shake me down like couch cushions out front.
Girl, she took one of my dollars out of my suitcase earlier, sis.
Did she?
She did. She said, that was mine. I said, you're a liar.
Well, she just needed it to block her forehead, you know?
No, but she was sickening. We had 2 shows earlier.
Yeah.
So we did a show at 12. And then we had another one at like 1:32.
I was going to come, but my flight got in so late last night. I literally slept until about 4 o'clock today.
So she wasn't going to come.
I was going to. Well, mostly because there was food there.
Did you take the red eye?
Did I take the red eye?
Did you take the red eye?
I did not.
Did you not take the red eye?
I know. It was close. It's more like the pink eye. You're familiar with pink eye. You got a lot of pink in the eye
conjunctivitis, a little, you know. Mm-hmm. A little swollen up here.
Swolt.
A little swolt.
That's what the kids say, you know.
Not swolt.
They say swolt.
It's a past tense. Yes.
So I think it's so interesting that you had, like, was it purposeful that you had Mayhem and myself here on the same day?
We rarely have, like, 2 Rue girls in one day. But it happens sometimes.
Yeah.
And it kind of sucks sometimes because it's just like, we get up really early. We used to do 3 shows. So when Olivia Lux was here, we did 11:30, 1:30, and then we did a 2 o'clock show. Or 2:30, whatever. And so we would do 3 shows. And so it'd end like 5:30, 6. And we go home for like an hour. You know, just eat some ramen.
Powder it down.
Powder my pussy. And then go right back. And we would have the show at 11. And we had Sugarcane last time. It was like one of these double shows. And so it can be really difficult sometimes. But, you know.
It's the life of a local queen.
No, girl, we got to work. I love money.
I love money, too.
I love money.
So for all of our listeners out there, and for me, since we're just meeting right now, just give me like a brief overview of who Ondi is.
Ondi is a piece of shit. No, no, Ondi is, I think first and foremost, I think I am fashionable. That's what I try to do is every time I come up with something that I want to put on the stage, it's very theatrical. You know, I'm a musical theater major. Yeah.
I love that.
Just like every other guy you've ever met in your entire life.
No, that's actually not true.
Really?
No.
I have met so many gays where it's like, I was a musical theater major. I'm like, another one.
Well, I got into drag
I'm not
through
unique.
musical theater.
Did you really?
Yeah, and so to me, like, that was the obvious step, like the next step. Okay, I've been doing theater and playing all these roles.
Well,
now I want to play the good roles.
I beat myself up for so long because I went to school in Nebraska because I got a full ride scholarship.
Ooh.
And I auditioned for 13 schools. You know, I auditioned for Miami and, you know, NCSA, all these big theater schools.
NCIS.
Yeah. Special Victims.
Yes. Dun, dun.
Girl. No, but I auditioned for all these theater schools, and only the one in Nebraska, you know, gave me a full ride scholarship. So kind of had to go there. You know, that's the best choice. And so I went there, and it was a very interesting experience. But I think the biggest thing I took away from it is they beat it into me that when you go to a show, you know, like, let's say as just an audience member, you don't know what people are going through. They could be going through anything. And they come to the show to escape reality and to not be where they really are. It's just like an escape from reality. You know?
Well, and I think that goes for the performers as well, because being a musical theater person myself, I know
so much.
I just got into it because there was just so much shit going on like the real life side of things that it was an escape. And it's nice to be able to like slip into somebody else's skin for a little bit. And have that good Silence of the Lambs moment.
But it was just really nice to like be able to, you know, do 12, 13-hour rehearsals, like do all this stuff, and then to do a show and do an entire weekend of shows and have people come up to you after that have never really experienced like shows, you know what I mean? And say, this just made my week. Like, wow, this just really like made me happy. And like, you guys just did such a great job. And it was just so pleasant to have people that have never been to a show that didn't know me come up and say such positive things. And, you know, I moved back to Houston because, you know, I got HIV in Nebraska, and in Nebraska, it's not a normal thing. When you get that in Nebraska, they treat you like you have the bubonic plague.
Yeah.
And it's really upsetting. Like, I got locked in a room and told that if I left, they would find me at my job or at school or somewhere, and they would come.
Who told you this?
The people at Planned Parenthood, I swear to God, sis. And they locked me in a room. I said, I want to leave. They said, well, if you go, we're going to come find you at your job or at school, and we're going to, you know, make a scene. They didn't say we're going to make a scene, but, you know,
but
they basically said they're going to come find me.
Yeah.
They're going to come find me. And so I was like, fuck this. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Very that. But, you know, in Houston, it's actually, we have a lot of support here. We have a lot of community centers that provide healthcare for people that have HIV and people that can afford stuff. And my mom has it. And so when I found out, I called my mom and I said, what do I fucking do?
Yeah.
And she said, you know, we have a lot of resources here. And I was kind of forced to make the decision to come back to Houston. But I had all this, you know, theater background and all of this like motivation inside of me to like, I mean, at that point in my life, yes, of course I was like defeated and like downtrodden or whatever. But I still, I felt like I had nothing to give.
Yeah. No, I understand that.
But I had just started drag. So I started drag maybe like a month before I found out.
So you started drag in Nebraska?
Yes.
Is there a thriving drag scene in Nebraska?
Thriving? You know, with Texas is so difficult because it's such a pageant heavy state here. And we have so many heavy hitters. Like, I mean, we have Alyssa, you have Kennedy, you know, we have Raja O'Hara that lives here. And it's really competitive here.
I've competed with all of those people. So yes, I understand.
Yeah, you know how intense that can be. So when I moved here, it was just insane. Like the level of like, I hate the word polished because that can mean anything to anybody.
Well, it's kind of also like the term diva it's not necessarily a negative thing, but
No.
over the years it has been kind of
Like
co-opted.
Beyonce is a diva.
And they turned it into something that is negative.
Well, Alyssa was here just a couple of weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And
she is a diva.
People are like, well, how was she? How was she?
See, my question would have been, how late was she?
Wasn't.
Really?
Yes, first of all.
Oh my gosh, mark that day on the calendar,
She
sister.
was not late, sis. Her and her assistants were on time, sis. We also started a little late sometimes.
Well, better late than pregnant.
We like a little cushion. Better late than pregnant. Yes, I like to get pregnant. But better late than pregnant. But I worked with Alyssa, and I was so intimidated. Like, I was so scared to meet her. Because, well, I did Texas, America.
Okay.
Yeah. I did a pageant one time.
Just once.
Well, I made it to state. And I had already heard, all these things about Alyssa. And she came to perform at the bar. And I was so intimidated to meet her. And she showed up, and she was so sweet. And she was so polite. But she had this thing about her where she knows exactly what she wants.
Yeah.
She knows what she needs. And she knows when she needs it.
Mm-hmm.
That did not make her a bitch. That did not make her, high maintenance. To me, all I saw was she knows what she wants.
Well, yeah.
And so when I say diva, that's who I think of. It's like
it's
Alyssa
a level
Edwards.
Of professionalism.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. She knows what she expects. She expects a certain level of,
Well, and I think that, I think Alyssa and I've said this before, I said it on All Stars 2, we're cut from the same cloth.
Yeah.
We may be completely different type of entertainers, but on the business side of things, I totally get it because I was raised in that same pageant world where it was being very polished and kind of being a diva, but it's also because not only do you expect other people to kind of have your back when you're going into a gig, by giving you the things that you need, you also need to let them know what you need so you can be the best you can be for them.
First of all, are your eyes real?
My eyes are real.
She's not wearing contacts?
No.
You didn't steal your eyeballs from somebody?
No, it's the only natural thing on me, girl.
I was listening to you. No, it's just, it's so funny when we have so many people that come out to the shows every week and they have this expectation of these Rue girls being a certain way.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, how was she? Because we've had girls before, like, no names are going to be mentioned, that come in or, snapping their fingers at the staff and squallering and hollering at people and
chirping like a squirping like
chirping like a squirping like a. And it's not very comfortable for everybody, but we rarely have that. Like, I mean, oh my God. We've had almost every season 13 girl. We've had Simone, we've had Gottmik, Jan, almost all of them. And I think because of the pandemic, they haven't gotten a chance to like go out and tour like the rest of you guys have.
Yeah.
And they're so pleasant to work with. Like, it's so refreshing.
Yeah.
Because I worked with some girls in the past and it's just, I'm so intimidated. I'm so scared. But every single girl from this last season have been so pleasant and so, I mean, I can't even, it's crazy.
It is crazy.
When Gottmik came and Simone came, because, they're who they are.
Yeah.
They're on the red carpet with RuPaul and, they are holding Emmys and Grammys or whatever they're holding. And you think they're going to be a certain way. They come with backup dancers and you have this expectation of like, they're going to be like LA.
Yeah.
They're going to have this diva, like we go back to the diva thing, this diva attitude. And they've just been so pleasant and it's so refreshing. And
well, I feel like as shitty as the pandemic was and has been, particularly like the lockdown, the quarantine and all of that, it really was a reset. For sure. And I think it made a lot of people, myself included, I can only speak for myself, but from what I see.
Speak for me too.
I'm going to speak for you. I'm the Lorax. I speak for the trees. It made me sit back and appreciate everything that I felt like I had maybe started to take for granted.
Absolutely.
Like, I would get on airplanes at 5 o'clock in the morning and go, I'm so tired. I want to stay home.
Yeah.
I am exhausted. My back hurts. And then after months of sitting at home, I was like, I would give anything to get on an airplane right now.
I feel like I'm an introverted extrovert. So the first 2 months of lockdown, I was in paradise.
Yes.
I was like, wait,
I agree.
I don't have to do shit and I can do whatever I want for 2 months. It was sickening. Because when we first started, I was working like 5 days a week at one of the busiest bars in Houston. Nobody's washing hands, People are stuck in the bathroom, It's not very sanitary.
It's not sanitary, but it sounds like fun.
2 days later, they're like, oh, hey, we have to shut down the bar. It's only going to be for 2 weeks, though. Little did we know it was going to be the entire year.
Yeah.
But at the time, we were like, oh, it's just 2 weeks, whatever. It's a vacation.
Yeah.
And I was, getting fucking wasted every fucking day. And I was like, this is great. But after that 2 weeks was up, and they were like, we don't know. And, nobody knew anything at that point. It was terrifying. I started kind of freaking out. And that virtual drag thing started picking up.
Yeah.
And I hated it so much. I hated it. Making music videos and doing all that stuff is so difficult, especially during a pandemic when you can't order stuff off Amazon. Like, you couldn't get anything when this all first started. And so it was really difficult. And I'm more of that girl that I like to be interactive. I like to be with people. I'm not a social media queen. I'm not really good at that kind of stuff.
You're a musical theater girl. You're just like I am.
I like to be seen.
Well, and I like to have that connection with an audience, where I tell a joke and either it lands or it doesn't, but you give me some kind of response. And then we move on and we have like this whole journey together.
Yeah.
And I found myself during the pandemic, like working harder than I think I've worked in years.
Really?
Just creating these shows, different shows every single
day.
All virtual. And you like, you are out of breath from performing, and there's just a little blinking light on a laptop, and you're like,
I hated it so much.
Like, I don't know if anybody's paying attention. I don't know if the jokes are landing. It's
the thing about if the pandemic wouldn't have happened, I would not be the show director at the bar that I'm at, because during all of that, the show director that was there got another job and was like, there's nothing going on.
Yeah.
So she moved on to another job, and I was one of the first servers because we started a full service kitchen. So we have like Cajun food, we got like jambalaya balls, crawfish egg rolls, we got all that stuff. And I was one of the first servers, and I would make jokes to the owner and to my manager about doing a drag brunch. And we came up with the Sunday service thing that we do every Sunday. And it happened for a couple weeks, and it kind of just fell into my lap. But I think that if the pandemic would not have happened, I would not have this opportunity. And I know it sounds sick, but I'm very grateful that happened, because before, I don't want to be that person.
Be that girl.
I don't want to be that girl. But I felt very under... How do I say this without sounding like a fucking idiot? Oops, sorry.
You say whatever you want. Yeah.
Can I curse?
You can say whatever you want.
I felt like I was underrated, and it didn't matter what I did. I would do amateur competitions and do this and that, and I would, compete in pageants. And I still never got that. Oh, hey, you're a person, you do things. And then all of a sudden, I get this job, and I get thrusted into the responsibility of booking some of the most well-known girls in Houston at the busiest drag bar in Houston. And it's been crazy. And I don't want to say that I'm glad that the pandemic happens.
But no.
But if it didn't,
you can also find...
I would have a job, sis.
You can find the silver lining in every situation.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully.
There's lots of bad things that happen because of the pandemic, but
God.
There are also good things that came out of it.
Absolutely.
As well. And I think that's a fantastic thing. And so now you feel like you are finally getting the respect that you've worked really hard for.
Well, and I think the other thing is, okay, so here we go. Like I said earlier, Texas is such a pageant-heavy state. We have so many hard hitters here. There is, the bar is high.
Yeah.
There's no excuse. And so we had the people that are show directors and that run everything here in Houston are people that have earned it.
Yeah.
You know, they have titles. They've, won pageants. They've done this and they've done all these things. And I'm relatively new. I've done this for 6.5 years now. It hasn't been a long time. And so I'm kind of intimidated by that fact.
Mm.
But it's so weird because all of these girls have, titles or they do this and that. I have nothing. And so I kind of felt going into this that I wasn't worthy of being in the position. But I think the best thing that I'm doing is I take these new girls that have just started drag 6 months, 1 year,
Mm-hmm.
And I put them on the Rebar stage if I see that they have the panache.
Yeah.
The chutzpah.
The star quality.
I just saw Miss Cracker a few weeks ago, so they have the chutzpah. And that was one thing that I know was lacking in the previous.
Well, just not being able to take chances.
No, it's just they would only book the older queens that have been doing it for 10 plus years, or the pageant winners, or this and that. They didn't book the new girls on the scene. And I feel like I'm doing that. I'm booking these new girls that are just popping out, that are just emerging, because I felt like that's what I was when I started, and I didn't get the chance. And I always wanted that opportunity to just show people that I could match that energy or match the level of entertainment that the other girls were doing. And so that's what I'm doing now. And I feel confident in what I'm doing, and I think that it's showing.
It's obviously working. It's the busiest drag bar in town.
Period.
Yeah, and I have always heard about Rebar, and I've never actually worked there.
Rebar used to be F bar.
F bar.
Barf.
Bar F. Bar F.
No, but it's Rebar now. But we used to be Riches.
Okay.
So it was a 2-story club. We had a lot of big people there. We had Avicii, I think, at one point.
Big people? Like me?
We never had big people like you.
Plus size ladies?
We had a couple of plus size ladies.
Ladies of indeterminate girth?
We have a weight limit on the stage, Steve.
Well, I am going to break it tonight. Either the weight limit or the stage.
210.
I want to ask you, what would be the best thing for me to perform this evening? What kind of vibe is it?
Oh, God damn it.
You don't take the Lord's name in
I
vain.
am blasphemous
On his
lesbian.
day.
We love Megan Thee Stallion here.
Okay.
But who doesn't love Megan Thee Stallion?
I do, but I don't know it.
You don't?
I don't know anything
I thought
all
you
the way
would
through.
know the entire catalog of Megan Thee Stallion.
Well, I have a catalog that she's in.
She said it's Vanity Fair.
In Vanity Fair.
It's Vanity Fair.
Yeah. And I'm more interested in the fun cakes at the fair.
Anything country?
Country.
They'll live for it.
We are in Texas. I did just release a country album called Double White Diva, available on all streaming sites.
She's a single mom that works 2 jobs.
Who loves her kids and never
stops.
With gentle hands and the heart of a fighter. I'm a survivor.
There we go.
Not gonna give up. I'm gonna work hard. Okay. So country,
Megan Thee Stallion, anything ghetto. You can pop your pussy too. Okay. We love to pop our pussies down here.
Well, I have not popped my pussy in many a year.
Just a slight nudge.
A slight nudge. I want to know what love is, and I want you to show me. On your hand.
I don't know.
Where did the name Ondi come from?
Oh, God. Okay. I hate that fucking question. It's so funny. That question's a part of the application process for RuPaul. I'm sure that
Have you auditioned for Drag Race?
Oh, yeah, a couple times.
Couple times? Did you audition this year?
No.
Are you on?
Yeah.
Breaking news.
No. Yeah, I auditioned a couple times. It's a lot.
It is a lot.
And the first time I auditioned was actually before they went with VH1, so the contract was half the size it is now.
That was always interesting because
I 28, 30 pages, and now it's 70 pages.
I was on Logo, season 7 was Logo.
Yeah.
And it wasn't easy, but
it was an easy NDA.
Easier.
Just one NDA, nothing crazy, but now you have to sign away.
It's like
your medical records and your pussy and just everything is gone to the
everything.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
And I kind of got intimidated after this last season. I looked at the contract and it was scary.
Well, and I think it gets worse and worse every year. Like
does.
just
It
more
does.
and more stuff.
It does, and I'm gonna audition again.
Yeah.
I want to, but it has taken a lot of like focus for me to get to that place because it's so scary now. It's not just something. It's really intense.
It's not. It's
something
nothing
you have to build up and commit to.
You can't be like, oh, I have Tuesday off, so I'm gonna knock the video
exactly.
out. No, it's like a week-long thing.
I mean, you have to pay somebody to record all of it, and you have to have the catalog. Like, you have to have the outfits.
Can I tell you about my original audition video?
Please fucking do.
I wish that I could find it and show it to you. It was horrible.
You don't have it?
I don't. It's somewhere. I'm sure I could find it. But it was so horrible because I got a phone call. I had never intended to audition for Drag Race.
Really?
And then I went and I worked with Jujubee in New Jersey. We were at, doing some youth pride thing together. And she was like, "Sister, why have you never auditioned for the show?" And I was like, I don't think I'm what they want. At that point, I was like, I just don't see it.
You're kidding me.
And so meanwhile, flash forward a couple months, I get a phone call. It's like, hey, we got your name from Jujubee and from Roxy and Detox and Coco, all the Orlando girls.
Great.
And they were like, we would like you to audition. And I was like, okay.
When they call you, it's on.
And it wasn't like, you come and do the show. It was like, we would just like to, see. We
would like your tapes.
Yeah, they were like, we looked you up on the internet and we'd like to see what you can do. So can you do this audition video? This was a Monday, I believe, Monday night. And I said, okay, when's it due? They said Thursday, get it to us by Wednesday.
You're fucking kidding me. That's not funny.
No, well, I'd never be able to do it now. But I sent in this video, my old roommate and I, we had some terrible old Android, the grainiest quality you could ever imagine. We were watching YouTube videos trying to teach ourselves how to edit it together quickly to send in. And when I got cast, surprisingly, my very first day on set, one of the producers was like, do you know why, Rue and us, we all decided that we really wanted you? And it's like, because I am just fantastic. And they were like, yeah, sure. No, they said you impressed RuPaul so much because you literally you're dancing around and you knock the curtains behind you down. We see the whole pool because it was the biggest stage area was the pool deck. So you knock the curtains into the pool. Things are falling down. Your eyelashes falling off.
So you thought it was a mess, but they loved it.
They were like, the thing that RuPaul loved was that you just kept going. And I was like, well, that's what it is. The show must go on.
Exactly.
I didn't have time to stop and rehang the curtains and go back.
Nuts.
But that's what drew them to it. So that's why I always tell people.
And now she's a glamour toad.
I am the glamour toad.
And now she's a glamour toad.
Mm-hmm. But I always tell people, don't get too caught up with making a slick video because they really do just kind of want that essence of who you are.
Well, it's so scary. It's because, potentially that can be the start of something huge.
Yeah.
And we think about these videos as something so important and we put so much work into it. Mm-hmm. And I feel like sometimes just being yourself and making it effortless is kind of a part of it.
Well, I guarantee you that if I had actually taken the time and really done it up, it would have blended in with so many other videos.
Whatever, next.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's fucking nuts. That drives me crazy because I just drive myself nuts just thinking how should I structure the video? What do I wear? How do I present myself? And I know the first time audition is just awful. I go back and I watch that video and I paid somebody $600 to record the whole thing. It doesn't sound like a lot of money, but for me it is.
That is a lot of money.
$600 is a lot of money.
It is.
But I was trying to be somebody I wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the most important thing about auditioning for anything, musical theater, reality TV, is they want to see that chaotic personality pop out. And I didn't let that happen. And it's very uncomfortable to watch for me. But I feel very comfortable now. I know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I know what kind of queen I am. Mm-hmm. And I think that's actually something that people really overlook a lot is people that don't do drag see. Oh my god, people that don't do drag see you, and they think that you just know who you are and that you're just so fabulous and you're so courageous for doing this. And a lot of the times, people don't understand that sometimes we're still looking to find who we are as an entertainer.
Well, I think one of the big things about drag is, when we all start we don't know who we are, but we know who we want to be.
Oh, bitch.
And so it just kind of helps us to throw everything up against the wall, see what sticks for us, and then move forward, You're talking about they look at you now, know what kind of queen you are and like who you are.
Yeah.
Who is that?
So I pride myself on, like I was telling you earlier, I think I'm very fashionable. I take a lot of, I started doing drag because of Raja.
O'Hara?
No.
Or Raja Gemini.
Raja. Yes.
Not Raja.
The first Raja.
Raja.
Not Raja.
Yeah.
Raja. And like I said, I started in Nebraska. Mm-hmm. And I had this, conception that, all drag has to be female impersonation. Mm-hmm. You can't just do other stuff. And I saw her go on there and they were just making fun of her. Oh, you're a club kid, you're this and that. And then she won and she just had all these iconic, amazing looks. Mm-hmm. And, she didn't have boobs on. She didn't have pads. And my entire drag career, I've been told you have to have boobs, you have to have pads, you have to have styled wigs, you have to have this and that. And that was season 3?
Yeah.
And so it kind of just broke this illusion that I had in my head of what drag queens were supposed to be in. Because I've been watching the show, since it started.
Oh, yeah.
I've been watching since the last season.
Which is
with the
best
with
season.
the filter on.
The filter.
But it kind of just shook me up. And I think the person that I am now is... Okay, so now that I'm a show director and I do this every week, this is my full-time job, I think I've kind of put things into a little more relaxed mode to where it's yes, I do things because I know they'll make more money.
Yeah.
You want to do the new Ariana song or the new Doja song or the new Megan Thee Stallion song because it's going to be popping and people are going to give you money for it. That's what I do now. But I think deep at my core, I still do things that surprise people. I take a lot of inspiration from the late Alexander McQueen, Iris Van Herpen, Grimes, a new artist, one of my favorite singers. Just all these really influential people that have kind of shaken the fashion world up, have shaken the performance world of it's not everybody has to be Beyonce. We can all have this panache. We can all do things that strike people without having to be, I don't want to say polished, but I said, a female impersonator, big stuff.
Without fitting a mold.
Yeah, exactly. I don't have to be Alyssa Edwards to make people happy.
Well, and that's the thing, people kind of looked at Alyssa for a very long time as the epitome of what a pageant queen should be.
I mean, that's
because she was winning things left, right, and center. She didn't always keep those titles. But
I didn't say that. That was Ginger Minx.
No, that was RuPaul. But I remember when all that happened between her and Coco and Miss Gay America, and then when all that happened.
And that happened here too, so I heard all the teases.
But the thing was, when you were competing with Alyssa, you knew that there was a very good chance that the real race was just going to be for first runner-up. And the really interesting thing about it was she didn't check any of the boxes for pageant girl. She didn't.
Are you kidding me?
She did it all her own way.
That's nuts to me.
But that is
that feels
true.
Like she set.
She would take.
I know she doesn't do that now.
Well, no, but even then, I remember watching her. No, oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I remember watching her, and it was always so exciting because you knew that she was going to fit the parameters of the gown is full length, and if it needs a sleeve, it's got a sleeve. It would be fine, but it would always be just a little quirky. And I feel like Alyssa's always had that little bit of edge because of her character.
Yes.
Even before she knew exactly who the Alyssa character was, there was still something that was interesting and different.
Alyssa, like this goes back to when she came a few weeks ago. Like I said, I wouldn't say I don't like the word, like you said, I don't like the word diva, but she knows what she wants. But she's been doing this for so long. But I think when she first started this, I don't think she knew that Alyssa was gonna be Alyssa.
Yeah.
You know, that has a Netflix show and has, you know, all this shit going on.
She didn't know her own strength.
But she did her own thing.
Yeah.
And look at her.
That's the key to everything in life.
Iconic.
The key to life is authenticity. And when you find out what
I mean, Shangela's bitch ass had to go on the show multiple times, and that bitch was on A Star Is Born. I almost fucking lost my shit, sis. I said, I want to get my titties signed by Bradley Cooper.
Well, just mail it to him.
Fuck Willem.
He'll send it back.
Willem's going to be here in December. I'm so excited.
That's
To
good.
do poppers with her. Just kidding. I don't do poppers. It makes me have a headache.
Oh, yeah, just like a headache.
I'm going to do it when I'm getting fisted, sis.
Fisted Sister.
Fist or sister.
Twisted Fister?
Twisted Fister.
Is that going to be our new band?
Is it?
Yeah. It's all musical theater covers done in a very inappropriate way.
First musical, Cats.
Scats. All right.
Scats.
All right. So we're gonna jump right back. I'm gonna pull this.
I'm sorry, I'm very ADHD.
I am too.
I'm like a ball of marbles.
A ball of marbles.
A ball of marbles.
That's a ball of balls.
Girl, that's a lot of balls, girl.
Oh my goodness. Well, so now you are a show director.
Am.
And you are the first show director that I've actually interviewed for this podcast, which is very interesting because you are kind of like the pinnacle of local queen. You are the head of the local queen. Like you get to watch all of these other local queens come through and figure out who fits and vibes with what you do.
Yeah.
So first of all, what is that responsibility like?
Well, like I was saying earlier, the previous show director, it was more of like you earn your spot at the bar. So you need to have a pageant title or do this and that. It feels insane because, like I said, just 2 years ago, I was nobody. Like, I mean, people knew who I was, but I wasn't getting booked. And it's nuts. I've worked with so many RuPaul girls and Dragula girls, and I book every show, and I book a lot of new girls, and it's always like a trial kind of thing. I want to see what people can do. I want to see how they respond to working with a professional, somebody who travels and does this as a living. And I mean, especially for me, like getting to meet all these girls and be a part of that is really intense. But to be in this position, and when I first started this, like people were really not nice to me. Like people that never gave me the time of day before, all of a sudden had this opinion about me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're not getting booked because of this, or she doesn't like you because of that. And you know, me as somebody who's not really like I don't have a pageant title. I don't, you know, have all of these accolades or these things that people would expect for somebody. I was really self-conscious about booking these shows because I didn't know if I was doing the right thing. Mm-hmm. And people would say a lot of really nasty, mean things to me.
I have learned that when people talk shit, it's because you're doing something right.
I learned that very recently.
Yeah. It's a hard lesson to learn because season 7, you know, right towards the end of it, things took a turn for me and people I was very polarizing. People either loved me or they hated me. And it felt like, you know, nobody's going to go on Yelp and be like, this was a great meal and I had a wonderful experience. They're going to
2 stars.
They're going to go on the internet and be like, this is what's wrong and this is why I hate it and this is how it made me feel and this is why I'll never go back to it. And for a very long time, I let every single one of those comments define me and how I felt about myself. And then when I actually got out on the road and I started meeting the people.
The Toad Road.
The Toad Road.
The Toad Road.
Toblerone.
Toblerone.
When I got out there and I started meeting these people who had a very different opinion than that, and I started absorbing that and their energy, I realized, oh, wow. What I'm doing is exactly what I should be doing. It's reaching the people that it needs to reach. And I'm actually doing it in the right way.
I think that's one of the best things that I've learned being a show director is this has actually taught me probably more than I've ever learned in my drag career because I've gotten to work with so many insanely talented people. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you've heard of Blackberry.
Blackberry, she's hosting the show tonight, right?
Blackberry. Yes, she hosts the Sunday brunch too, and she hosts almost every fucking show in Houston. She's the best. But I started drag with her. You know, I was literally there for her first time ever in drag. She was in the same competition, and she's just grown into this superstar, and she just owns it. When she started drag in Houston, having a beard and doing drag was not the tea.
Yeah.
Like, she got so much shit for it. They were like, well, this isn't drag. Well, you're not, you're not femme. Like, she just got so read down for having a beard and being a big black drag queen, just unapologetically. And now she runs this fucking city. It's crazy to see that flip. Like, she knows who she is. She's so intensely talented. And there's a lot of crazy talented bitches in Houston. And it's really, like, humbling to be in the position that I am. Is because I'm very lucky to be at the bar where, you know, we have all the drag race girls and we have a lot of talent coming through. And I mean, most of the time I kind of feel like I'm not doing enough because I meet so many people that are just now it's crazy. It's nuts.
I will say I've been a show director in Orlando, and it's a lot of responsibility because what you need to do as a show director is make something that you have to create an experience that has peaks and valleys, you know?
Yes.
You have to give something for everybody, and not a lot of people are able to do that. Because I think, you know, we kind of sit back sometimes and we go, this is the drag that I do. This is what I enjoy.
And it's enough.
And it's enough. And then you surround yourself with people who do what you do.
Yes, people.
But
yes,
then,
men.
Well, yeah. But so even like with the entertainers, it'd be like the first couple shows I booked, it was a bunch of ginger ninjas. It was people who did what I did. And that was a double-edged sword because it was like, A, I don't get to stand out for what I do.
A horde of toads.
A horde of toads. And B, nobody cared after a while. It was like, okay, I'm bored. This is the same thing over and over.
Well, that's what I was going back to, like, you know, before I started working where I am right now. It was like a lot of the same. It was just the same 5 girls doing the same 5 shows all the time. And I think that's limiting. And I think that having a variety, having new girls, having different kind of girls in the shows makes things exciting. People appreciate that. You get a different audience every single time. You're not going to get the same 5 people that you get every weekend. I don't know. I think it's really a blessing that this happened to me because I have become so much more understanding. Like you said, you were only booking other ginger ninjas. That was the antithesis of what I've tried to do when I started doing this. It was like when they said, you are the show director now, I took it upon myself to be like, I'm going to book the underdogs. I'm going to book these new girls. I'm going to book these people that don't, you know.
And that's why I ended up booking a whole show of ginger ninjas, because in Orlando, this was not the type of drag that everybody would book. You know what I mean?
What's that type of drag?
Broadway, plus size, campy. No,
that's crazy to me.
At that time, it was very much about looks. It was, you have to be
pageanty.
Even beyond pageanty, it was just stunning. And it was like almost like a heightened stripper burlesque kind of drag where, you know,
Paramore.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, we were near Paramore Street.
Like you just get naked and pour water on yourself
and it
pop your pussy on a trolley and you're ready to go.
It was beautiful, but it wasn't a place for me, and unless I was the show host. But there was already a show host, so I had to create my own space. And then I was like, okay, well, now that I'm here and this is successful, let me give other people that feel like me the opportunity.
Yeah.
But then I realized,
see, now that sounds so much better.
But I think you understand. Like, I think that's what you were saying too. It's like I was trying to give people who I felt like needed their voice heard a space, a platform. Yeah. But then I realized you've got to find
balance,
a harmony. Yes, absolutely.
I love words.
So what do you look for as a show director?
I I said this the other day on Facebook because I love being dramatic and I love being messy. I don't. I mean, yes, I do care what you look like, but I think the biggest thing. I'm sorry. Girl, I'm stepping on her Gucci slide, girl.
Oh, that's all right.
I think the biggest thing I look for is I don't care if you have money and you can buy the most expensive wigs and costumes and your beautiful face, great costumes, brand new wigs, no energy on stage. You don't know your words. So what I look for is panache. I look for that energy. I look for people that know their words. I'm sorry, but that's your first job as a drag queen.
Mm-hmm.
You can wear a burlap sack with Sharpie eyebrows. I don't give a fuck. Give me some energy. Give me some like love. Give me something.
Yeah.
You know, that's the most important thing I think is caring about what you do. It's like you can look gorgeous. You can have 1 million Instagram followers. But what are you doing on stage?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing for the people that come to the show that have paid to come in or that, you know, are having a fucking bad week and they just need something and they come to your show? Like, it's really touching to do these things that seem so trivial to us. Like, we do Sunday brunch every Sunday and we think it's just whatever. But sometimes we have people come up to us crying, like, and saying, oh my God, like, this is my mom's first show. And she was just, you know, she wasn't okay with me being gay. And she loved it so much. She had so much fun. And you touch so many people. So I think the biggest thing as an entertainer, and that's why I look for this in people, is that you love what you're doing and you care about what you're doing. And so you can look great and you can have the costumes and the hair and the face. But if you get on stage and you just don't, it's just,
I get
it's the energy. It's the love for the what
passion.
You're doing. Yeah. And I mean, baby, if you're doing drag, you're not doing it because you want to make money.
No.
This is not a money-making career.
and people, they think that even like on the drag race side of it, they think, oh, you've been on TV, you're a millionaire. People were literally saying this to me on social media after like they didn't agree with one of my looks or whatever on All Star 6. When they started going,
agree.
I
don't agree with your look.
Millions of dollars. She did Dumpling with Jennifer Aniston. She should know that she should pay people. First of all, the pandemic affected me just as much as it did everybody else. And in the height of a pandemic, trying to film something like Drag Race, trying to get everything together in 2.5, 3 weeks to go, when all of the wigs come from China, but they're shut down.
That's fucking insane.
Although fabric comes from China and it's shut down. You know,
can't get anything.
You can't get anything.
Not even Amazon.
You've run out of money and you're trying to create things. Like, you're trying to make something out of nothing. And that's really what drag at its core, that's the spirit.
I mean, but sometimes that forces you to be creative. Yes.
Like my pop art look that Rue and the judges just went like nuts over. It was muslin, like the cheapest muslin you could get with iron-on transfers and puffy paint. And
they fucking loved it.
And they loved that. And that was
and
really...
you didn't think that was going to be shit, did you?
No, that was... There was a couple of looks where I was like...
awesome. I love that.
My finale gown that everybody just loved and adored, it was pieced together. It was London Adore. She was on my last podcast. She was last week.
That's my grandma.
But she, my best friend Gidget, who was helping me make all those things, we pieced it together from 70 yards of scraps of fabric.
70?
70. Mm-hmm.
Ciao.
And it was
how did you figure that out?
We just started cutting shit and sewing it together. And that's how it...
70?
Yeah.
Ooh,
but... Drag on any level, be it local, newcomer, or pageant, Rue Girl, any of that, it is not a money-making career.
Oh, absolutely.
You have to invest almost everything that you make, you invest right back into it.
Oh, bitch. Sometimes I decide between buying a new wig or buying furniture for my house.
Like this one? That wig is gorgeous.
You like this one?
I like it.
My little wig?
I would say it's snatched back, but it's a snapback.
It's daddy-ish. No, but it's crazy. People always think, like people that just come to our shows and stuff, they think that we're just making all this money because that every little dollar they give us is just going straight to my bank account. It's like, baby, this outfit that I'm wearing, every single dollar matters. It's difficult. Especially if you don't have two jobs, you know, like right now, this is my only job. I used to do leasing, but most of the girls that I work with have two jobs because that money that we're making in drag, baby, that gets sucked right back into it.
And
back into it.
There's no union, there's no pension, there's no retirement fund.
If there was a drag union, bitch,
well, I just
it would not be okay.
my mom one day was like, so do you have a retirement fund? And I opened up the garage and it's just all of like my Drag Race costumes.
This is my 401k.
I was like, this is my retirement fund, because in 25, 30 years or whatever, when drag is like making its comeback, you know what I mean? Because like it'll be like
it'll be in waves.
It'll be in waves because the pendulum it just
right now
swinging.
The teeth.
It's all the way over here.
Everybody wants to be a drag queen right now.
But I was like, eventually it'll be nostalgia, and I'll be able to sell all this shit and buy a condo and
hopefully
Raton.
Hopefully.
Unless it's water.
That's hopeful thinking, sis.
Yeah, but seriously, like that, there is.
I mean, we like to think that the money that we spend and the work that we put in is we're investing in the future, and it's gonna matter to somebody someday.
Yeah, it's gonna matter. Speaking of mattering to people, I would like to ask you 4 questions, and I ask these 4 questions to everybody on this podcast. Okay,
I'm ready.
1, what is your definition of a local queen?
Right off the cuff, I want to say somebody that's not on TV, but I don't know. I would say somebody that's, I don't want to say pillar of the community, because you don't have to be a pillar to be a local queen.
A pillow of the community.
A pillow of the community, baby. Well, if that's the only requirement, then we got a lot of those. I would just say somebody that's a part of the community that puts an effort to be a part of shows and that gets booked regularly. And that's not on TV. That's the only thing. We have so many hard hitters in Texas that, here being a local queen is just, being somebody that's not on TV. Okay. I don't know what else
There's
to say.
no
That's
wrong
literally
answers.
the first thing that comes to my mind.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say.
There are no wrong answers. I just like getting everybody's opinions on that.
Am I the first person to say that?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I mean...
What do other people say? I want to know.
Well, you'll have to go back and listen to our other episodes.
Oh, and so will you. You're going to have to go back and listen.
London Adore, she was kind of saying the same thing, but elaborated in the sense that they are people who they put in the work within the community. In order to get respect, you have to give respect. And if you respect the community that you're working for, they will in turn support you.
Absolutely.
And so I think, you're kind of saying the same thing. And I think that that's so true. And it's so important. I always say, when I'm in Orlando, I'm still a local queen. I'm still showing up for, and they're so sick of hearing this, $50 and the cheeseburger at Hamburger Mary's. But it's because that community supported me before anybody else in the world knew I existed.
Yeah. And they still do.
And they still do. And I continue to support them as much as I can. And I think that that's really, like, at the gist of it, that's what a local queen is. It's somebody who the community can rely on, and they can, in turn, rely on the community.
Yes.
My next question, what is your worst performance ever? Most embarrassing, anything like that?
So I was doing this little competition at this old bar, Rich's. It was like a drag race type competition. And I think the theme was like sweets or like candy or something like that. And I chose honey. Because I'm very
sticky.
Very sticky. Candyman. So I literally did, I tried to do a whole Candyman thing.
You said it twice. Don't say it 3 more times, girl. We're facing a mirror.
I'm not the one. I will not say that again. I'm not the Bloody Mary type thing. I don't want no cucuis. I don't want no, I don't do that. But, girl, I had this raggedy ass wig on, and it was just, I made this whole dress, and my grandma actually makes all my costumes.
Aww. I love that.
I'm like Gigi Good, but with my grandma instead of my mom.
Drag is a family sport.
It is. But we spent all week making this dress, and we glued honeycombs, the cereal, onto the dress. The entire dress was made of honeycombs. So I was like, oh, this is going to be a hit. I focused so much on those honeycombs. I didn't focus on anything else, and I just looked a hot fucking mess. And it was in front of a lot of people during a competition where I was being judged, and I've never felt so insecure and unprepared. I think sometimes, you know, being unprepared and going on stage can be a blessing because you get that adrenaline and you pull random shit out of your ass.
Yeah,
And
sometimes literally.
It just happens. I'm not sure a needle sis. No, I don't pull stuff out of my body. No, but
I think it was Lahoma back in the day. Used to literally lit Christmas lights, like a whole string.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, it was like back at the Limelight in the 90s.
Not the Limelight, bitch. Not Michael Ailey.
Yeah, we don't talk about her.
Not the club kids, see.
The club kids.
Not the club kids, sheesh. But yeah, it was really embarrassing. And it was not the tea. I did not like that at all. It was very embarrassing.
Well, on the flip side of that, what is like the best performance you've ever given? The one you're most proud of?
Ooh. Okay. I don't really connect with that one because like I am so defeatist. Like I'm one of those people that I feel like I can always do better and I could always be better.
Yeah, but there has to be one moment where like that number ended and you felt like a fucking superstar.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is during the same competition, different season though. I did 3 seasons of this competition.
Hey, I also did 3 seasons of a competition.
And look at you now.
I know.
I had given up. It was like the finals, and I was dead set that this one person was rigged to win. I had defeated myself. I was like, "There's no way I'm winning this," and it was happened to be during Halloween, and I did this number that was about like mental illness, and it was a Bank song, something really off. It's not something people knew. It was just something. It was a shot in the dark. It wasn't something that I thought was going to get
something you did going. For you, not for
I did
them.
It for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a song nobody knew. It was an FKA Twigs song. And I had given up to the point where I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to do whatever the fuck I want to do. And I went so hard and I poured myself out onto the stage. And to this day, it's one of the numbers that people come to me and will say, that's how I know you, was because of that number.
Mm-hmm.
And I discovered FKA Twigs because you did that. Like, I still watch the video because it's on YouTube. And I just like, I can just feel like I don't give a fuck energy coming off of me. And I didn't think it was going to matter to anybody or to mean anything. And I ended up winning the entire season. And just because in my head I'd given up. And I just let go, and I just was myself. And I think that's the biggest.
Well, it's like what we were talking about earlier. It's whenever when you try to be what you think people want, it's never right.
No,
people can smell a phony like 100 miles away. But when you just let go and let loose and do you, people find a piece of themselves to connect with.
When you do stuff like that, you think to yourself, this is off. People aren't going to like this. Like, this is weird. Mm-hmm. And then you do it and people just love it.
Because we feel alone whenever we think those things. Whenever we're like, nobody's going to get this. I'm the only one in the world that's ever going to like connect with this and feel this way and see life from this angle. And then we do it and we realize, oh no, this is a shared human experience.
Exactly.
There are other people who fucking feel like this and need this. Yeah. That's why I do what I do. That's why I continue.
I think that's very important. Like I said, you asked me when, have I auditioned for Drag Race? And I was like, that first audition tape was so painful to watch because I was not myself. I was really trying to like be somebody that I'm not. And it really shows. And I'm not that person today. But I think that was a really big, like a pivotal moment in my career because it to this day, like I said, teaches me like, do whatever the fuck I want. Like Alyssa came and I did 2 French songs by Emily Simon that nobody fucking knows, but people live for it.
Yeah.
And I had people come up to me after and say, I love that you, during one of the biggest, because obviously people showed out for Alyssa, during one of the biggest shows you guys have ever had, that you do this random, like out of nowhere shit and you're confident with it. And it means a lot to me because that's who I am as an entertainer. Like I have these life experiences and I like the music that I like and I have these visions of what I want on stage, and I don't care if other people know the song I'm doing or know like the vision I have.
Mm-hmm.
As long as I can translate that and somebody out there understands, I've done my job.
Exactly.
Yes.
Now, the final question to take us home is, what would your advice be to somebody who was looking to start drag, become a local queen, and get involved in the scene?
No, just kidding.
Every single girl
Too
has
many
said
motherfucking
that.
drag queens.
Every girl has said
Are you
that.
kidding me?
No.
Oh, I don't want to be that girl.
No.
You know, I've actually worked with a lot of girls that have been doing drag less than a year that are so insanely talented. And I would say the most important thing is to be humble, to be appreciative of the people that you're working with. I think being humble is the biggest thing, because having a good attitude is the best thing you can wear. Is a good attitude, I think.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but that's literally kind of stops there for me, because you know, you can be busted, you can be, you know, alternative, or you know, not wear boobs or not have hip pads or this and that. A good attitude goes such a long way. Like, I will remember that so much longer than I'm going to remember, oh, she didn't wear boobs. Oh, she didn't have hip pads. Oh, her lace wasn't glued down right. That's not what I think about. I think about, she was so fun to work with.
Mm-hmm.
She was a pleasure to work with.
Well, at the end of the day, people in general, they're going to remember not what you said or what you wore, but how you made them feel. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
no, it goes a lot further than you would think. First impressions mean a lot. Mm-hmm. But as a drag queen, I would definitely recommend, if you're starting out, just be humble, be thankful. Like I said, this is not a money-making career. This is not something you do to make dollars. If you're in it for that, you're delusional. And you're going to figure that out real quick. I think the biggest thing you can do as a new queen or somebody that's just starting this, just be humble, be thankful, be grateful to the people that employ you, because there are so many girls out there there's so many people that see us on stage and they say, wow, I could never do that. I could never, you know, I don't have the confidence. I'm not beautiful. I'm not this and that. We're not those people underneath all the makeup and stuff. I think a lot of drag queens start doing drag because they're insecure.
Yeah.
It's something that helps them feel better. It's, for me, especially when I started drag, it's something that, you know, my life was not very pleasant at the time. And Ondi was beautiful and glamorous and could do whatever she wanted.
Yeah.
And I was always very grateful and very thankful to be in the positions that I am. And so when these new girls come in, they're just kind of like have a little stink face and a little attitude. I'm like, girl, it wasn't like this. Like, you need to just count your blessings, sis. Mm-hmm. So a good attitude. That's what you need to wear, sis.
Absolutely.
Nothing else.
Well, thank you for coming on the podcast and talking with me today.
I'm very appreciative that you had me on.
Oh, see, look, you're following your own advice.
I love to talk.
Appreciative. I want you to tell our listeners where they can find you.
You can find me every fucking week. You can find me every week at Rebar. I do a burlesque show at Rebar on Saturdays. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's real women with real titties. Mm. Yes. We do all kinds of stuff on Saturdays. We have boys, we have girls, and everything in between. Mm-hmm. And then on Sunday, we do our Sunday service every Sunday, hosted by Blackberry. I'm there every single week. You can also catch us on Thursdays at Rebar again, because that's where I work.
I'm sensing a theme.
For Blackberry's competition, Drag It On. It's like a drag race style competition.
I love that name, Drag It On.
Drag It On.
Oh, it's already been
like
dragged.
But it's drugged. It's already been drugged.
And then on social media?
Right? And then on social media, I'm Ondi, the number 4 real. I'm Ondi 4 real.
REAL?
REAL.
All right.
ONDI, the number 4.
Across
REAL.
All social media platforms?
What? TikTok and Instagram, yes.
TikTok and Instagram.
If you want to follow me on Xbox, if you play Fortnite, or anything else, I'm Lobster Mac. Oh, that's my thing. I'm Lobster Mac.
Oh, I'm allergic. But I'm also Ginger Minge, and you can find me across all social media platforms. Just go to gingermingeonline.com for all of those links. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, babe.
And remember, all of you out there, you too can be not only a local queen, but a hometown shiro. We love you so much, and we'll see you next time. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, send it to your friends, your enemies, whatever. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.